Hello everyone. Welcome to the Heritage Academy Department of Media Science presents Careers in Media Science, a live session with Miss Recha Paliwal. Let me introduce our guest for today. Miss Recha is a renowned human resource professional with global experience in corporate and business HR. Ms. Paliwal is currently the Vice President HR at the Hoichoi TV and certainly someone who we look up to in the industry of media and entertainment. We welcome you, ma'am, to the live session for today.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
It's our privilege and honor to have you with us today, ma'am.
Sure.
We would begin our live with the most popular question that we students have while we pursue our careers in media and entertainment industry is that what kind of jobs exist in the entire industry of media and entertainment?
Sure. If I were to answer this question very broadly, obviously it's divided broadly into three parts. Given that it's such a creative industry, I'd like to begin from the creative jobs that exist in this landscape. And those creative jobs could range anywhere from script writing to ideation to creating content to producing to being able to package that content to be able to deliver that content. So your graphics, motion graphics, edits, and the entire post production side of things. And then the way things are evolving, we are now dealing with multiple formats. So that creativity then goes into different formats, whether you're looking at um, large format for big screens or you're looking at shorter formats. You could do large formats on web as well, right? And there are short formats because social media is booming right now. So creativity is across formats. So there are creative jobs. There are jobs in distributing this content. So when I say distributing this content, it's not only important to create content, but also it's equally important to be able to take that content to people, to our audiences. And that's where distribution comes in, whether you are talking about taking music or you're taking your content, and you're using different kind of distribution channels and different kind of distribution techniques, whether it's through marketing or social media marketing or digital marketing. You are using to take your content to your audiences, and there are a plethora of jobs in that space. But apart from creating and distributing, there are also a lot of other support roles which support both of these areas into making sure things work out for you. And those business support roles could exist in administration, it could be in accounts, HR, legal, and there are multiple back-end operations that we have within each category. Um, and that's where the landscape of opportunities lie across different qualifications, across different degrees. So careers in creative are not restricted to just mass comm and journalism and or
Right.
media sciences, right? They could be across a variety of degrees or a variety of qualifications that you take.
So, ma'am, what are the required skill sets that one must possess to get such a job?
So, I meet all kinds of people today. And when I say all kinds of people, I meet people who are very clear of what they want in their career. I have met people who have already decided, pre-decided, and they've taken up a qualification depending on what is it that they want to do. And I also meet people who come from different qualifications, but they know their passion and they
Mhm.
want to pursue that passion. Uh, and there are people who still are unsure about what they want to do and are still trying to figure out, what their strengths are. Or, you'd face a question like, oh, I haven't decided what I want to do yet. So, all these three categories put together, at the very initial stage, there are some very simple things that we look for. Um, Of course, passion. If you're passionate about something, you know that job will align very well with you. If you are passionate, then you pick up a lot of extra things also that helps you pursue your passion. So definitely having a passion, and if you've had the opportunity to channelize that passion, whether in college or outside, that would really make you stand out. If you haven't found that kind of a calling, or if you haven't found the opportunity to decide, then having knowing what you are inclined to is extremely important. A lot of times it's difficult for the recruiters to be able to dig that out of you. That's why if you would come with that inclination, at least, if not passion, then that helps the recruiter to really align you with your inclinations very clearly. So knowing what you want, being passionate and knowing what's your passion, knowing what is your inclination is extremely important. Having the enthusiasm is extremely critical. Whether you've showed that enthusiasm at your college, being part of a lot of organizing committees or events, or you like to pick up things on the outside, so your enthusiasm would have sort of created a portfolio for you already. So definitely enthusiasm. And there are multiple other soft skills that we've spoken about. Being able to, a lot of soft skills that you are able to communicate well, you are able to answer, problem solve a lot of things, you are able to question and challenge and ask your whys.
Right,
These are
right.
qualities that definitely keep you in good stead.
So
As far as
passion,
I do want to go back to one thing,
right,
as far as being clear about what you want, I cannot emphasize this enough. Please expose yourself to internship opportunities, because
absolutely, yes,
that would really help you absorb the kind of environment, experience the environment, and also help you understand, what you are really good at. And the internships are valuable. Use that opportunity to expose yourself to as many inclined areas that you want to experiment with.
right,
Because once you've done your internships and once you've gone through that exposure, you will very clearly know what is it that you want to do. And
right,
internships are such a brilliant way to not only showcase what it is that you have, but also to experience what it is that you will get into.
right. Thank you so much, ma'am. So this brings me to the next question, which is also one of the most popularly asked questions nowadays. Jobs require experience, and experience requires jobs. So how does a student like me or of my age break through that loop?
It's a typical chicken and egg situation, right?
Right,
And there's no way around it. But I still feel that, at SVF and Hoichoi, there's one thing that we believe in: creativity and experience are not interrelated. And there is no reason for someone who's fresh out of college to not be better, more creative than a very experienced individual. Experience only lends you the capability to react to a situation, to respond to a situation better. But there is no saying that channelizing creativity will have anything to do with fresh out of college or not. And I've seen many such examples, which is why I say this with a lot of confidence. However, coming to a practical world, and I completely understand, I was a fresher once and somebody gave me an opportunity. um, I think in today's day and age, you have to create opportunities for yourself. How you create those opportunities, whether in the workspace or in your college, or in you expose yourself to a certain environment, that is your responsibility. And once again, I want to re-emphasize the importance of internships, because they allow you to put forward your skills. They allow you to create a resume, which can showcase what you bring to the table.
yes,
And I think you are no longer a fresher once you've done multiple internships. You've got something to write on your resume. And it's all about how you position what you've done to your audience, uh, or to your interviewer for that matter. So don't think that being a fresher, let's not stereotype freshers. Let's make sure that we start thinking of what your portfolio is, even if it's with less
Absolutely.
experience. And you, and I see that a lot of students don't start doing this early on. That's why your college is a brilliant, brilliant space for you to channelize your skills and gather new skills, because there are so many opportunities, there are so many things happening in your college. So take every opportunity um, to reinforce the skills that you have, and trust
Right.
me, then your resume will not look like the one of a fresher, because you'll have a lot of things to write about. So
Yes.
don't let the fresher tag hold you back.
So, talking about internships and placements and polishing the skill sets, the industry of media and entertainment is growing and evolving with every passing day. So, how does one keep himself or herself updated?
So, look, today there is, with this obviously, internet and communities on the internet, there are so many avenues to keep yourself, updated with what's happening. My suggestion would be to definitely read up the news. It's the simplest thing, right? Whatever your interest area is, have a newsletter delivered to you. There are a lot of digital newsletters that's available now. Make sure social media is huge these days, so make sure you follow the right accounts that can keep you updated. I mean, all of us have those few Insta accounts or Twitter accounts that we
Yes.
always look at, because there's so much information that's available out there. So I would definitely recommend that you be part of the right communities. Pick out the right communities where you have access to information. Pick out people on LinkedIn who speak the language you want to hear or are domain experts of the area that you want to work in. And trust me, on the internet, there are so many free masterclasses that are available for you to consume. These are all things that can help you really stay up to date. Be a part of forums and be a part of events that can help you network with the right people in the industry, people who can follow people who share their knowledge at all times with everybody. So I think these are things that should keep you
Yes.
in good stead and updated with whatever's happening.
Right. So, polishing your skills, finding your passion, and then staying connected with people who inspire you. Also, ma'am, we would love to know from you an HR's insight on cracking the dream interview, the practical tips that one needs to follow or something.
Sure. So a lot of times, especially with freshers, I see it's very, very important to know what you are coming for. Um, so, firstly, that's was something that I was talking about earlier. That either you have taken the opportunity and the time to figure out what it is that you want to do, where your passion lies. If you don't know your passion, at least know what's your inclination. And in the situation where you know none of these, take some time out to self reflect and think about what are your strengths. If you're not able to pick out your strengths, ask yourself, what makes me stand out? In my class, in my surrounding, within my group of friends, and whether you can channelize that particular strength in your role, because ultimately we are all in a lot of ways an extension of who we are at our workplace. Ideally, that's how it should be.
Right.
That you should do something that you totally feel about, because then your job is just not a job. It's an extension of your passion, and it's an extension of what you want to do. So first of all, knowing what is it that you want to do with your life is extremely important. If you don't know, then make it very clear that I'm open to exploring. But ideally, you should have explored through internships. So you will be able to go and say, during my internship, I realized that I'm really good at this, and this is something that I want to, follow through.
True.
Secondly, knowing your strengths, knowing what is it that you're good at, knowing what you're good at can be used in this job, depending on which job you're going to. For example, if you're going for a cinematographer role, then Excel may not be the best skill to talk about,
Hmm.
because the usage of Excel in a cinematographer's role might be very minuscule.
Right.
So, know the job, understand the job, and figure out which skills align with you, and then talk about those skills so that the recruiter is able to see your fitment in that role. Um,
Absolutely.
Go back, reflect on what are the kind of examples that I can give in the interview that will really help my application, my candidature. For example, if you are going for a marketing role and you have been part of your uh, college fest organizing committee, and you did the flyers for that, and you did the marketing and the sponsorships for that, then that makes for a brilliant example to give in this context. So always
Right.
think of good examples that you can talk about. Um, don't don't miss out on anything. If you're the person in your friends group who organizes all the parties and the get-togethers, that also makes for a good example, because that shows that you can deal with a variety of people, deal with a variety of perspectives, and you can come to a consensus even though everybody may want different things. So
Right.
it all depends on how you channelize your strength and how you position that strength to the job that you are applying to. Uh,
Absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am. Also, what are the probable job opportunities with SVF?
So at SVF, like I said, I want to go back to the creative jobs first. So whether it's, writing for bigger series, whether it's writing for short content like YouTube shorts, for example, or it's writing campaigns for social media, copywriting. These are the kind of jobs that you would have available on the creative side. Of course, the graphics, editors, motion graphics, content producers. These are all the jobs that we hire at junior levels. Um, Apart from that, we also hire for a lot of back end operations. Um, Again, the demand for people who can create is really important. And like I said, on multiple platforms, in multiple things. If you're good at marketing, when I talked about distribution, what I meant was marketing, sales, figuring out where our content should be, what are the kind of platforms, so talking to your partners, vendors. So there are multiple opportunities within the marketing, sales, influencer management space, because we work with a lot of influencers as well. We work with a lot of brands for brand partnerships. So that's also an area where people can find opportunities. So just to recap, there are creative opportunities. Those creative opportunities could be in writing. That writing could be on multiple platforms. It could be in social media management, because that's also creative. Campaign
Right.
planning on social media management. Copywriting for solutions to brands. Copywriting for social media solutions. Copywriting for short campaigns. Then there is the distribution side of things, which is marketing jobs, sales jobs, um, being part of back end operations, um, broadly. And of course, there is the whole business support unit side of things, which could be HR, legal, PR, um, all that sort of space.
Because Sri Venkatesh Films Entertainment and Hoichoi TV is such a big name, students, freshers, and like fresh graduates, they want to work with brands like Sri Venkatesh Films and Hoichoi to pursue their career because it gives them lots of opportunities for growth. So, ma'am, can you please tell us how to structure a CV or a resume in the correct and the most preferable way?
Okay. So, I see a lot of people put down a lot of unnecessary things on the top. For example,
Right.
uh, your address, in such a digital age, we don't really need to see the address as the top item. So talk about your strengths first, talk about your competencies first. um, a lot of people I see put objectives in their resume, but their objective doesn't really resonate with who they are. So make sure if you're putting an objective, it says the right things and it talks about what you want to do. So definitely competencies, talk about it. What are you proficient in? And if you know any softwares, or if you know any tools, then definitely talk about your proficiency in those. If you don't have much, if you don't have any job experience, talk about your internships, but don't talk about your internships in the sense of what you were asked to do. Talk
Right.
about what value you added in those internships. So say for example, you were able to create a campaign plan for social media, around a particular project or around the content. To me, that sounds like a great answer, rather than saying I interned in the um, social media department of X company. So it's
Right.
important to write what you did in the internships, on your resume. And then lastly, come to, obviously you need to include important details around, what your qualification is, whatever it is that you're pursuing. I also see a very new thing which I feel people miss out. For example, in your co-curriculars or extracurricular activity, do mention the things you are part of. If you run a food blog, for example, or a food handle on Insta, mention it. If you have a
Okay.
certain number, because that shows that you are capable enough to handle an audience of X followers, or that's your passion. And if you went for a job at Zomato, that makes for a brilliant combo, right? So no, you should talk about your extracurricular activities and what is it that you're good at, definitely in the resume. And that's how you, so in the scheme of things, your address is the last thing I want to know. It may not be there on the resume. um,
Right.
Also, say for example, gender. We've gone beyond that now, so it really doesn't need to be on the top of your resume. We're an inclusive society, and it doesn't need to stay on top. It's completely optional.
Okay.
So
Thank you
keep
so much.
so the way you want to structure it is think about how my resume will sell me or will position me as a great candidate for the recruiter.
It was great hearing from you, ma'am. Such valuable insights will be a treasure to the students or young professionals pursuing a career in media and entertainment industry. Thank you so much, ma'am. With this, we come to the end of today's live session. It was a pleasure and honor having you with us. And it was
Thank
great. Thank
you.
you, everyone who joined in. Thank you so much. Stay tuned
Thank
for
you.
more such educational content. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.